Hello,
Hi.
and welcome to the VX Art Tournament 2021. Thank you so much for tuning in, taking your Saturday to sit with us as we go through this amazing set of entries. First and foremost, I'd like to put out a notice, an apology, and an update as to the initial processes from last time from issues that were raised. There is a preliminary round that does occur because there is limited time for us as the host, as the judges, as the facilitators to go through all of the entries. So there is a round before we get to actually displaying the entries that the they are vetted to say these are the ones that are not per se worth discussion, but these are the ones that we're able to select given the time that we have. Not to say one is lesser than the other or less wanting of our time. We do appreciate every single entry. Every single entry is why we are here. So thank you so much for being patient with us as we go through this. It is difficult to coordinate across different countries and continents, but thank you so much for your patience as we head into this. And now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our judges for this VX Art Tournament 2021. First and foremost, we have Andy Kung, is an amazing storyboard artist, and he's bringing forth his talents to the stream. Rodrigo, coming to us for the first
Hi.
time. So sorry you couldn't be with us last time, but so happy that you're with us now. He's an amazing illustrating comic book artist. You should definitely check out his work. Very big into the sports and the UFC and the wrestling. Do check out his portfolio and page. We have Jamie Bordnax coming through as also a media partner with us with Black Girl Nerds, and we appreciate her being here and giving us her time. And then we do have returning as well, Lemi Garioku, who is going to give us his thoughts, opinions, and break down the pieces that he feels like are worth our attention. Now we can immediately jump into this, but first, just so everybody's on the same page, me, you, and you watching, we have quickly gone through this document. They're the same entries from last week, and we're going to just zip through with some very brief comments as we just reacquaint ourselves, reorient ourselves with the format and who is who within this part of the tournament. What we have done is selected ones that we feel we want to discuss individually. The judges have done it. They've picked three that they really want to talk about. So again, we're going to quickly go through the entire document and then circle back to really judge and analyze particular pieces. Judges, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Yeah.
You ready? You ready? Rodrigo, you ready?
Let's go.
Let's go. Cool. All right. So these are the VX Art Tournament submissions, the top 50. Definitely big thank you to our sponsors over at ArtStation, Flip City of Paint, and obviously Comic Con Africa for making all of this possible in association with what it's called. This is who will hold the golden pen. So back to number one. So this is just revisiting all of these artworks. Really gonna zip through this. The resilient one really came through with great spherical design and emotion. If you have any comments, just quickly chirp in, and then we can zip past. Don't feel like you need to like hold back, hold in, hold forward. We've got this We Move one. It's very urban. It's got that painterly feel that we all love from digital painters. This one, this Us piece from Nigeria is really something that you would see on a cover of a think piece, an op-ed. I think someone had made that comment last time. This graduation with my father is very emotive and has a message behind it. This one, I think we spent a lot of time on last time. Resilience against the odds. It's got the tentacles, it's got the hands, it's got that feel of resilience. Another day, another gift. This piece we had a lot to talk about on, and it's interesting to see like the talent coming to the competition. This one needed some clarity last time, but I think we're all on the same page when it came to it. Big shout out to Jabberginger_art. Then we have Escape from Kenya. This piece.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites.
This is one of your favorite. We'll circle back to it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
definitely one of those that stands out, and I think this was also a judge favorite, a fan favorite, when we were going through it initially. If you weren't here last week, um, this one really spoke to a lot of messages at once, and that's kind of art saying 1,000 words. Um, I really love the not the animification, but the personification of particular identity. But this one is one of those that stands out for me. Definitely, these familial pieces like Soldier for the Future really hold that kind of emotion, that simple illustration that says a lot with just facial expression and line art. Um, these literal interpretations of resilience, definitely love these with use of the foreground, middle ground, and background. Um, the idea of existence. I think I had expanded on this piece
Mm,
last time in terms of ballerinas. This one is very it's got that iconography to it that speaks to this era of stress and rebellion and resilience. There's a lot of blood in some of these. I do apologize for the younger, the more sensitive viewers due to the nature of the theme. Um, it's to be expected, but I do feel like I need to just give my 2 cents in terms of it's art, but also I'm sorry. This one really really nice use of depth of field. Um, this one, you guys know that I'm now I'm a big fantasy fan. I've actually learned a lot about some of the
one of
judges
my
throughout
favorites too. Yeah.
this is one of your
Mm.
favorites.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
It
yeah.
speaks a lot. Number
And
30.
this one too. And this one too.
The,
This one,
this
yeah, no,
this
this
one
Yeah,
is
one
amazing.
is a crowd favorite.
yeah,
It's amazing. It's amazing. We will
yeah.
come
It's
Yeah.
back to
amazing.
that one. We will come back
Mm,
to this one. This one has all of the elements that a lot of the stronger pieces has in terms of use of lighting, character design, and
mhm,
so on and so forth. Um, Number 32, straight up the resilience. There's a lot happening in this piece, and I kind of like that. I kind of like more rather than less in terms of how, like, especially for a tournament. Bring your A game, bring your S tier game, um,
mhm,
and definitely people really went all out with their colors, especially in Fight the Flames. Loving all of these pieces. Again, another familial one from an intern.
mhm,
I think he also entered last year. Such amazing entries. Just a note for this document. This is just for public purposes. We do have your original uploaded files to the Google Drive, which we're using to judge and contest. So don't worry about the cropping here. This is just for social discussion and debate. Um, I really like this. If anyone can pronounce the title of this one, please do. If not, forever hold your peace. 3, 2, 1. No? Jamie? Andy? No? Cool.
Arpashad,
Scrolling.
maybe?
Hmm? Hmm?
Arpashad?
Hmm? Okay. That's on
Pashadi.
you.
I'm
That's
guessing.
that's on you.
Apashadi.
I appreciate
Apashadi.
definitely. Sorry, I'm a layman with languages. So I really appreciate it when people come through with their mother tongues or their own languages, because that's what this tournament is about. As much as it is an art tournament, it's an African art tournament. So don't only bring your voice, bring your identity to the piece, and you can see it with a lot of these. With the particular settings that they've chosen, the way that they do their lines, there's a sort of uniformity, particularly with clusters of Nigerian artists, clusters of Zimbabwean artists. There is something that is unifying towards them, even though they have their own voice. This one also from Botswana, like the previous piece that we couldn't pronounce, it has that same sort of high level thought to it. And, those are the kinds of things that we get into just now. The trump card. This is one of those ones that there's a lot going on in here, and I really like that. I could see this as a Magic the Gathering card. I don't know if I made that comment last time.
Mhm,
But yeah, this one, compassion and resilience. I think even though the theme is just resilience, compassion does play a big part in what resilience means, because there's a difference between resilience and rebellion, right? Rebellion is
mm,
defined going against society. but resilience is a sort of stand up and stand together sort of thing. So it does require compassion. It's that sort of individualistic thought that brings a lot to the table. Um,
Mm.
just a quick reminder for everybody who's watching: these are not the numbers that you see on the left here are the identifiers. It's not a ranking system. These are just simply we're using the same numbers from last time so that we're looking at exactly the same pieces.
Yeah, I
You are
love
not
that one too. Yeah.
you love this one,
Sorry.
this
Yeah.
51.
Yeah,
Yeah,
51, yes, yes. Yeah, that one.
yeah. Shout out, shout out. It's a Zimbabwean piece. I'm not biased at all being Zimbabwean. But yes, the numbers on the side are identification numbers. You're not 50 seconds. This is just number 52 in terms of our spreadsheet that we're filling out with our thoughts, opinions, and rankings. Yes, definitely feeling that rising Felix. Did I say Felix? Phoenix. Rising Phoenix
Yeah,
aesthetic,
Phoenix. Yeah.
born again from the flames with the Ankara patterns. These bulletproof Cameroonians, love it, love it, love it, love it. Um, the undying spirit. I'm a big like fantasy futurism kind of person. So when I see things like this hope and inspiration for number 56, um, it really speaks wonders to my soul. More resilience from Angola, um, and these very detailed scenery pieces. I think a lot of the pieces are character driven, but this one is definitely environment and what like a setting as a character is definitely something that you see in animation that
Yeah,
has life to it. More from Nigeria. This reminds me of manga. I think I made that comment
I
last
like
time.
that. Yeah.
Um, Glimmer of hope. I love the masks. As a former theater kid, those masks they mean a lot to my soul. Also love this one. Um, really, really great contrast there. These kinds of messages and use of words on the actual image. Great, great, great stuff. Number 71 is definitely one of those that's it it makes use of purple. I'm a big fan of using purple in illustration just
Mm.
because it gives it that mystical, eerie sort of specialness feel. This is one of those pieces that I said definitely I would buy this if I had NFT money. Love these pieces. This fight song, I think it was up in the air as to the nature of what's happening, but the feeling I think we're all united about it. Um, this one, I think we spent
Yeah, on this
extensive
one.
time
Yeah. Yeah.
on figuring out what kinds of resilience
Mm.
we could bring to the storytelling. And this one, the last one for today, is not today. Um, and yeah, that is the entirety of the people who made it for the top 50. Congrats, big congrats. Making it through after such numerous entries came through from all over the continent. It is an achievement, amazing. Put it on your CV, put it on your LinkedIn, top 50 VX art tournament. Definitely. So now what we're going to do is circle back to, I wouldn't say judge favorites, but ones that they would want to discuss. So that we're going in numerical order. I'm going to start with number 9, suggested by Lemmy. Let's talk about this one. Hang on. Let's oh no. Okay.
Yeah, number 9.
Let's hear your thoughts and let's actually have a debate as to
Yeah.
why this piece
I I love this so much. I mentioned last week too. She's a woman. She's carrying a baby. It's like multitasking, and then she's climbing a rock with so much determination and so much resilience. She had to just be extra strong, to go through this journey in life. So, for me, it's a total um, state of resilience, enveloped in this beautiful piece of work. And I love the coloring. The coloring is subtle, it's effeminate, and it's lush. Everything just harmonizes for me. The balancing of the imagery, in the paper or whatever, in the size. I just love it. I love it. Yeah, I love it. I would have given it 10. I just shied. away from degree 10. That's how much I love this.
I hear you. I hear you. What you're saying is there's a lot of messaging behind it, um, that's coming very clearly to you. I would like to jump over to Rodrigo's thoughts on this. You weren't with us last week, so definitely want to get your voice on these pieces.
Well, I didn't pick this one, but I have doubts about number 9 because I really like it. It's quite stylistic. The colors, as my buddy said before, looks really nice, and the composition also works great. And I think whoever have done this have a great potential. I really like this one.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Given that you draw a lot of human figure in your art, how would you feel about seeing this in I don't know, whether a comic book or a comic book cover? Is this something you're interested in terms of human anatomy?
Yes, I love drawing human anatomy. This one could work as a comic cover perfectly. Have some details about anatomy which can be developed, but have a lot of things which give a lot of expression to this illustration, and I really like it. To be honest, this was one of my favorite. Yeah.
Awesome. Jamie, I don't know if you have something aside from the messaging that Lemmy has spoken about and the human anatomy that Rodrigo has brought out. Is there something about this piece that you feel it's a banger, it's a winner? This is one that you would be in support of, and if you're not in support of it, that's also something we can talk about. Don't feel limited to just hype up a piece. If you have some criticism or commentary of where they could do better, this is the place. They're listening, they want to hear you, they want to do better.
I think this is a beautiful piece. I love the coloring. She's definitely giving me some She-Hulk vibes going on here. I think that showing a woman, that's climbing, the pressures of just going against gravity, like in a physical sense, that's showing resilience, and then carrying the baby and the weight of the baby, and being a mother and childbirth and all of the things that go into that, that both literally and metaphorically, shows resilience. So there's a lot of layers to this piece, and the messaging that the artist really spoke to when they was thinking about the theme resilience, and they really hit it. So I think it's a beautiful piece.
Awesome. Andy, any 2 cents, 3 cents, 99 cents?
Yeah, no, I love it. I agree with what everyone's saying. I love how dynamic the pose is with the drawing and just the composition of everything. So I think it's a really strong piece.
Dope. Really appreciate all your feedback on this. Entrant number 9, I hope you're taking notes. Take the praise, move forward, incorporate that into your next couple of pieces. If not, make it your visual language. It's definitely unique amongst these entrants. So yeah, go places with that. Number 10 was requested as one of those ones that the judges wanted to stop and think about. So I'm not sure in what order you want to go through. What are your strongest feelings and thoughts about this? Andy, I know you wanted to stop on this. So if there's anything in particular that really strikes you, let us know.
For me, I think I'm really big on less is more. So I love the composition of this and just the subtext of it. Of all just the hands, kind of, especially the poem that goes with it as well. Of all the hands like intertwining and kind of, converging into that, and having that the flower sprout out of the finger. So just showing that, pushing through in terms of all those things for that theme of resistance. So I really like this piece.
Definitely agree. Jamie, let us know. I know you were a big plant mom last time. Do you have any, aside from the plant mom? We know you really like it. What about this? What about, let maybe make an internal comparison between the other plant pieces, because you spoke about this one very, very highly. What about this stood out, aside from the fact that it's a plant?
Right. I mean, I think it's definitely more than a plant. It's my favorite piece so far. It definitely speaks to resilience in the most profound way. I like Andy's term convergence. I mean, it's if convergence was a theme, it would speak to that. I mean, you see at the corner, lower left corner, you just see, this browning of the plant, and you see the darkening of the stem, and it's brittle, and there's thorny, stems that sort of converge as it goes midway through. And then there's, we're getting some green, we're getting some chlorophyll happening in the plant. But then there's these hands that are, coming out and pushing through, and they're going towards the light, which is what plants do. And in spite of, the browning, the thorniness, sort of just all of this negativity, I guess, that is trying to bring this plant down, it's still trying to spike up towards the light, and it's being very resilient. And then it's this beautiful flower that buds at the top that's like, I'm just going to keep going, and I'm just going to be proud and beautiful and just be absolutely brilliant and beautiful in just the most magnificent way. And that's, to me, resilience tenfold. So that's what I love about this piece, is there's a story here. I mean, you could actually tell a story with this one image.
Awesome. Lemmy, do you have any thoughts, criticisms, advice that you give to the artist?
I love the piece too. Same feelings here. I think I'm seeing a boat. I'm not sure, but it looks like there is a boat between all that struggling going on. Then exactly the way the plants are reaching out to the sunlight, and then that flower, that blossoms out, and it looks like a hand is holding the flower. Everything shows a struggle and the process of getting out of the struggle. So it's a resilience personified too. So I love the piece. I love it so well also.
I like what you said there in that second last sentence. The resilience of getting out of the struggle. I think that's maybe a globally understood phenomenon, particularly when it comes to artists. There's a lot of criticism we get. There's a lot of rot. There's a lot of growth and transformation. You got people trying to hold you back. It's a thorny path, but if you strive towards the light, you will grow. No, I hear you. Gang. Rodrigo, any thoughts artistically or kind of messaging that stands out
about this one?
About this
I have noted that what I like most is the composition. I think it's quite powerful, and it works really nice. It have a really strong idea, but in my opinion, I think the final details of this one could be better. He have one thing that for me is the most important in any illustration, which is the base, the composition, and that works great. But I think whoever did this one have to try to still to work to give the best of himself or herself to get better on the details, because he have something really important, but still have to work on that in my humble opinion, but have a really powerful idea and solid composition.
Awesome. Your humble opinion is why you're here. We appreciate it. If you definitely disagree with the piece, holla, say what's not doing it for this piece. I know criticism is difficult, especially for artists. You could say that this piece isn't working for me. It feels like a personal attack for the artist. It's like, oh, this is whack. makes it sound like you're saying the artist is right. That's not what we're saying here. Any sort of feedback that the judges are giving are to help you grow, to help you do better, so that your next piece you incorporate this advice, like Rodrigo said. He likes the composition of your piece, but those refining details, especially if you take a painterly style, taking the time to really refine the edges and so on and so forth, really goes the extra mile. So the next one is number 18. It's called The Fight, an artist from Kenya.
That's right.
Let's talk about this one. Rodrigo, I know you had strong feelings about this. Tell me.
Yes, I picked this one. I really like the idea, the composition, have a lot of characters, how everything look nice despite having a lot of people there, which is something quite difficult. And the colors are all like in the same scale. There's nothing which seems strange. I really like this one. As I said in the previous, when I bought something, the main reason is the composition. If the composition is nice, the rest is easier. And this one have it. I encourage this one, whoever drew this as the one. Sorry, my English, as you can see, have some limits. On everyone who have participated in this contest have done some really cool pieces, and I think should keep working. But this guy or girl or whoever did this have something really cool. So please keep working because I really love your work.
Awesome, question. Andy, chime in. What's what about this piece has got you focused?
For me, I love how even though it's composed as a vertical format, it feels really cinematic for me, like a shot out of a movie. So I love just how everything's not all the chaos is captured it's Dutch angle, and all the figures aren't static. Everyone's thing is composed just in different angles to give it that sense of chaos. So yeah, I think it's cool. It'd be kind of for me because I'm a board artist. I love to see it as a wide format shot just to see how the whole thing's composed. Feels like a shot out of a movie.
Awesome. Just a quick question. In the world of TikTok videos and vertical format, do you think there'll be storyboard artists in the future who've never seen horizontal storyboards?
I think there's a lot of people experimenting and playing with it. I just prefer the wide format.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for that.
I do have one. I think the figures in the foreground, I actually make them darker to really pull that sense of depth, and just having the foreground, midground, and background, or the first two figures in the foreground.
I guess just these two.
Making them darker and then make them just a little bit taller and bigger, then they'll really help with that sense of depth in the shot.
Awesome. I think the general rule is that things in the foreground are darker and it gets lighter towards the horizon or something like that. That's one of those notes. If you're here listening now or you're watching later, kudos on filling up the fields, but things in the foreground darker, and then so on and so forth. Jamie, what is your 122 cents on this?
I think it's an interesting piece. I like the fact that I don't know if anybody's touched on this yet, that there's only one woman in this piece, and she's, sort of standing very stoic, and these guys are kind of coming after her. But then there's it looks like there's, a guy that's also on her team that's fighting against these, regime of guys that are coming after, her folks. So I don't know, there's something interesting in that they have a whole bunch of guys and one woman, and she's just standing up there with her fighter pose, ready to kick some butt. So I like that.
I like that too. She's definitely residing here, and I agree with everything you said. It is interesting Um, and sometimes like as an artist, you usually skew towards your own gender because you spend a lot of time with one yourself and the people who look like you. So it's interesting that you made that note. Lemmy, I wanted to know if you got any.
Yeah. I made that note also. I noticed, and I was really impressed by the lady, the single lady in the whole structure. But
The
talking
single
about
lady? Oh, the
yes,
single lady.
I don't mean single as in a relationship though. I mean
It's
one
okay.
person.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, I like the composition a lot. Um, it's yeah, it's like a story, like a complete story in that picture, and then the work is well executed. I like the colors, everything blends together, very harmoniously. Um, yeah, about the two figures in the foreground being a bit darker. Okay, yeah, I think I agree with that also. So everything is fine. Everything is fine with it.
Cool. Really appreciate all your thoughts and comments and feedback so far. So we're quickly gonna zip over to the next one. This one, ID number 26,
Oh,
New
yeah,
Lands by Salim Busuru.
yeah.
Um,
I bought this
yeah.
one. Yeah.
Okay, Rodrigo, take it away.
Yeah.
Take it away. Don't let me stop. Do your thing.
I really love this. This is one of my favorites for sure. I think it's the idea or the I don't know the way to finish the illustration is quite simple to say in some way, but the color selection, the still how the artist stylized the figures, the animal. I think it was great. The composition fits perfect for that idea, and I really love this one. It's really beautiful, really beautiful. Whoever did this could be a professional artist perfectly.
Definitely great. Andy, I just picked a name out of a hat. There's no hats here. I lied. Andy, Andy, what do you think about this piece?
I love it. Yeah, I love the composition. I love the storytelling in it, of what it has to do. It's cool hearing the little description about it, because I don't really know much about the whole the different tribal groups. So this is cool. And then I think if I was to have one critique, it would probably be depends. This is subjective. I try to always push my figures to be more not flat, more cinematic. So if you look at like just how the other figures kind of going at a diagonal pose, like how he's like it's bending towards us this way. But then the other creature is actually still flat. It's still horizontal. So I think even just like the tilt of the head of that would really help push that composition.
Something,
Yeah, it starts coming away that way, just so it all flows nicely.
Okay. No, I hear you. I definitely hear you. That was one of the advice from my storyboarding. Like it looks a little flat. So it's definitely one of those things. And
There's one thing
for something like this,
I can't like undo now because I just got that beat into my head. Like no flat image. Always pushing the z-axis.
The push is sometimes necessary. Jamie, let me know how you feel about this New Lands piece by Salim.
Yeah, I used to read, and I wish I remember the name of the comics, but I used to read these faith-based African comics as a kid, and the illustration looked a lot like this. So I could definitely see this in a comic book. I can see this as an animated short film or, even feature narrative. So the illustration looks great. I think my only criticism is it's not conveying to me resilience. I'm not getting that messaging.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not getting that messaging through this artwork. Other than that, great illustration. It's just not giving the actual theme of, what this is supposed to be about.
I hear you. Lemmy, you were chiming up there?
Yes, yeah. I'm sorry, I had to jump in. As I'm, from the onset, I keep saying this is not showing resilience. It doesn't really relate to the theme. So when she said it, I had to jump in so it doesn't look like I'm copying her. So she knows I have
You copied me.
Nah, you took it out of my heart. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful piece. My only criticism is the theme. It's not related to the theme. As for the other critique, for me, I think it's just a matter of style. Artists, have different ways of expressing themselves on paper or whatever. So, ah, only critique is the theme. I love the piece.
I hear you. I hear you. This is
Yeah.
one of those artists that you really take notice of, like in the early rounds of a tournament. Have you ever seen like what is like Britain's Got Talent or something, where the person doesn't make it through, but they're the ones that get famous later? Yeah, no, this
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
this feels like those very strong composition, very strong character design, and yeah, this is one of those pieces that you see. It's like, oh, I recognize that name from that
Yeah.
one art tournament. Yeah, no word.
Mhm.
So jumping over to, did everyone speak? I feel like everyone spoke. Hmm?
Yeah.
Yes. Um, Jumping over to the next one, I'd just like to remind everyone
Ah,
that
yeah,
if you
this
are
one.
if you are if you are just joining us now in this stream, or you've been watching and you just need a first reminder of the reset of the room, we have skipped quickly through the entire entries. The judges are going to look at them in isolation in their own time a little bit later, but these are the ones that we wanted to discuss, analyze, and give our 2, 3, 5 cents on, and really get into the meat of judging a piece. So don't feel like we've skipped over you again. We've definitely taken the time to discuss and analyze these individual pieces, and the judges are giving their 2 cents. Just here for the purposes of a live discussion, we are getting to particular pieces, 3 from each judge, and just having a good old verbal joust about. Do people still say that? Do people still say verbal joust? I feel old. Verbal joust about this piece. And now for number 30, Heart. I know a lot of people,
Mm.
really felt strongly about this one. I already got all their senses. So Rodrigo, you go first, and then we can
Okay.
get back into the judges that were here last week.
Okay. This is for sure my favorite one. I really love it. The composition is dynamic, is solid. It doesn't have a very crazy composition. It's simple. Everything is black and white, and I think the clothes, which is colored, is like to show her own culture. The angle of the shot of the peak, I really love this one. This one is really amazing. Just to say something which isn't so good is maybe the details on the cars, or maybe the way to stylize the cars, to keep working on that. But this one is absolutely amazing. It's my favorite for sure.
I hear you. Just very quickly, I think the artist last minute sent in their artist note, and it reads, modern life in quotation marks never stood a chance. The resilience of African culture in modern civilization, period, full stop. And
I totally agree. I totally agree. That sort of thing there, that's why it's one of my most favorite. I could score this one 10. You know why? I love the hue of black and gray and white. Then centrally, the body, the color of Kenyan flag on the beach on her neck. And she's a woman again. and she's moving. She's so powerful. She looks like Superwoman, and she's in a different environment, a different culture. But in her heart, in her soul of soul, she's kept her, identity. As a Pan Africanist, I buy this one totally. So I love it. Composition, everything is is beautiful. It's beautiful.
Nice. Very passionate response there. Andy, do you have any visual criticism of the piece? We all love it, but do you want to be the bad guy here, or do you just love it as well? Right? It's totally fine if you love it.
My favorite piece. I love the forced perspective on it and just the whole way it's shot and framed. The design is great too. It reminds me of just Robert Valley. I'm a really huge fan of like Chris Push design. So this is, I don't really have any critique. It's just one of my favorite pieces. And then the message, right? And it's just really a bold, strong statement, which I really love. So.
Jamie?
Yeah, this is my second favorite piece. This is another one of those pieces that tell a story. And you could easily, tell a story through this. She's on her way to work, the school outfitters. She went ahead and bought that suit to get ready for an interview or something. But she still got, her wearing the Kenyan flag. She's still embracing her Black pride. And she's like, look, regardless, even though I have to be cloaked in corporate attire, I am still going to embrace my Blackness. And then, she has that sort of Supergirl moment where she's got, instead of the S on her chest, she's got the Kenyan flag on her chest. And I think that is bold and beautiful. She's got her nose ring in there. Like, I don't give a F. Like, I love it. It's just beautiful storytelling. And resilience definitely is on the nose with this.
Awesome. I think a lot of us, especially because we live in like a global village, having to code switch. Rodrigo, I know like you're feeling a little bit anxious about the English barrier. I think that this is one of those pieces where it's like, you're in this global village, so you have to be one way, but you, in your heart of hearts, I've been asked a lot of times, what language do you dream in? And I think that's an important question. This is one of those pieces where it's like, regardless of what your settings are or what you have to put yourself through or where you find yourself, whether it's in a corporate room, an international Zoom call, or just walking to work, you are who you are, no matter how many layers you put on top of that. And I'm glad all of you like this piece. I like it too. Very strong in character design, positioning, storytelling, and it really bleeds through that very subtle theme of resilience. Like other pieces really pushed the resilience and lost in other ways, but this one really nailed it without being too obnoxious about it. Really love this piece. This was 30, so we're going to jump over to the next one of the judges' selections, which I believe is 46. I think it was Humst.
Me.
Okay, go through. Sorry, scrolling through the side thing and looking at all the documents. Andy, come through. Tell us why you like this piece, why you wanted to discuss it.
I like this piece because just all like animation design of it. Again, just the graphic designs of all the figures. And it's just a fun piece, and I love like the way it's rendered too, with the lighting in the back, with the blue pulse line, and then I don't know, it's just a fun piece. I just like it because of just the animation style. I think it's done really well.
Awesome. Rodrigo, what are your thoughts on this piece? Do you think there's anything that the artist could do better? What do you like about it?
I really like this one. When I saw the list, this one stay on my mind because it's quite professional. The lighting, the shapes of the characters is really nice. I really like it. It worked perfectly, and I don't know. Sandy said, the lighting on the background, a good composition, how the eyes of the glasses fits of the main character fits on the same line as the medical line. Really powerful and stylish. Well done.
Awesome. Lemmy, you got something to say about this one?
This is beautiful. Technically, it's near perfect.
It's near.
Technically,
Okay.
almost,
You
almost
put yourself on
yes,
the spot now. What
yes.
is making it fall short of perfect? You
And
like tell us.
like what Rodriguez mentioned, that stroke of genius, the glasses of the main character, and the diagnostic lines, that monitor lines, medical monitor lines, the way it's synchronized on the same level. It goes from left, tilted upward, and goes to the right, and it's so lovely, so lush. Then the reflection of the it's like emerald green of that diagnostic lines. The reflection of it on the face and the shoulders and the top, the heart also of the other figures, everything blends well. Then that orangey effect, the lighting on their bodies too, goes so well. The background has a hue of that emerald, and then it has like silhouette of skyscrapers. It's just lovely. It's lovely. Then the hue of that um, reddish orange, so to speak, it's embedded in the background below. In the background of the figures. You can see in between the figures, you see the hue. Yeah, that one reflected. It's a work of a genius. It's technically very, very well done. Very well done.
Near perfect. You
Yes.
think
And
I'm
that,
skipping
that
past
means
that?
that means I'm still saying 9 over 10.
So where's the one? Where did they like? Listen, they came to you for advice, and they're saying, "I think I'm really good. What do you think? What do you think I could do better?" Like they're begging you. They know that they've honed their craft, and they want to take it a step further. How do they get your 10, Lemmy?
My 9 is actually my 10. I don't want to be.
We see you. You gave a 10 last time. We know what your 10 looks like.
But I really don't have any criticism. No critique at all.
That's perfectly fine. Does anyone else have particularly strong feelings about this one? Do you want to throw your hat into it? Amy, you want to?
Oh, I love the illustration. It kind of gives me the guy that does the animation for gorillas.
Okay.
Yeah. The board ape NFTs that are popular right now. It's kind of got that vibe going on. And I really love the fact that there's there's sort of a what's the word I'm looking for? They're kind of giving respect to frontline workers in this way. I think that's really cool seeing that. I like seeing that kind of menacing character in the foreground there that's kneeled down. I like the look on his face because he's like, I'm determined to get rid of this.
He got blood on his teeth.
I know. I'm curious too about the blood, but like maybe this is like a messy, fight, right? And it is messy. So there's a lot of layers here, and it's great. I mean, the messaging is there, the animation is fantastic, and they nailed it with the theme.
Yeah, definitely. With this one, I've heard the word animation thrown a lot of times. I would see this as like a animated short. It's got really, really solid characters. Like you see these, like the way the nose are developed, the little glossiness of the eyes, everything that you mentioned in terms of the lighting. This is really, really, really solid work. And again, maybe if you who made this? It's from Nigeria. if you have the time, learn some animation in terms of Procreate if you haven't already, and put out something. This is something that can definitely get the attention and fill out your portfolio in an easy way. Storyboard it out, have these character posters, have like a 30-second animation of what's going on. Yeah, definitely onward and upward, I suppose. Number 51, Lemmy. You need to tell
Yes.
me. You need to tell me your deep, intimate thoughts. Is this a 10 or a 9? Tell us now.
um. Okay. That's a tricky one now. um. Yeah, it's lovely. It's lovely. It's also about culture, undying culture, and she's female. So I have a soft spot, a soft heart for anything proclaiming our culture. Um, yeah, it's just short and sharp that way. It's lovely. It's
It's lovely.
representing. Yes, yes.
Awesome. Um, Jamie, tell me how you feel about this. Is there anything striking about it, or where do you see the artist could improve, or is there a kind of storytelling that you're seeing that I'm not?
Just noticed the boobs just now. Uh, I like the style of her wardrobe. I think that's very unique to me. So I'm just a dumb American. I don't know any better if that is a certain style of dress that's worn culturally, but I love it. I think it's beautiful. Um, I'm trying to understand where resilience comes in on this piece. It's not conveying to me. So yes, artistically, illustration wise, gorgeous piece. I'm just missing the mark with the theme.
I hear you. Um, Andy, tell us whether it's from a storytelling perspective or an art perspective, um, is what's worth discussing about this piece to you?
I mean, I think you're Jamie. I don't quite see the resilience piece. Otherwise, I think it's a really cool design for a character-based piece.
Mhm.
But in terms of what it has to do, and maybe if there's like a background or just something to add to the story for the resilience, that might help out. Um, for me, it feels like more of a character design piece.
Yeah, I'm about to mention that. Really, 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 really great character design. This is one of those memorable, I would say, villain. Does that mean? Because it has horns. Um, Memorable villain characters that you'd see at like a Comic Con as someone cosplaying. Definitely with the pipe and everything. But Rodrigo,
Uh,
um,
okay.
yeah,
Can I say
this
something, please?
piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, about this one, I really what I like most is the atmosphere of the illustration, the renderized of the body, but I think still have to work to work much more on the human anatomy. There are some details to work on, but I think as my buddy said before, the character design is quite cool. It's really nice, but in my opinion, I still have to work more on the anatomy to have a great result.
Let me, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to talk to the theme of resilience. As an African, I know what it is, for someone to be bold. This kind of character is very bold. It's like trying to recreate the real Africa, the authentic Africa in totality. And the title of the piece is Undying Culture. You see the smoking of the pipe. I remember as a little child, my mom took me to the village, and my grandmom was smoking pipe, and a lot of grandmothers were smoking pipe in the village. And I was really astounded because I thought, like in the cities, even though we upholding Western culture, it's like a taboo in Lagos to see a lady smoking cigarettes. So that pipe smoking is very culturally deep. And when I got back to Lagos, I was telling people that pipe smoking is even done by the grandmothers in the village. That that's real deep culture. They smoke tobacco in pipes. So this imagery just takes me back, to my roots entirely. And then the mask on her face and the costume itself, it's very daring because of colonialism. A lot of our people, especially our women, shy away from the culture. They feel embarrassed. Sometimes, they feel like it's something to be hidden, something to be taboo. Everyone wants to be in Western attire. Our women, will go and straighten their hair. Some bleach their skin. So that's why I can relate to this totally as resilient, relating to the theme. I can picture that from my own perspective.
I hear what you're saying. I hear exactly what you're saying. So this would be a similar piece to, give me 2 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
to number 30, which is
exactly.
against...
Yes.
Okay.
I have a soft spot for culture. I don't joke with it.
Yeah, no,
That's why
definitely.
you won't see me.
No
I don't
disrespect
wear
to...
Western clothes. I don't wear Western
That's
clothes in Nigeria.
understandable.
Yeah, in the last
Understandable.
50 years. Yeah, I will wear my buba and shokoto. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah.
Where, and I guess this is like the discussion part where we can all talk very quickly before we jump to the next final pieces that we're going to look at. But we were all somewhat in agreement that this was amazing, and it said something that Lemmy is saying that the other piece is saying that's not coming through with this new one. Do you think it's to do with everything outside of the initial character? Because we've all agreed character design is amazing and it does speak to culture. I think it checks those boxes of being African. But in this particular case, there is a level of storytelling that makes the theme clearer versus, I think it's 51.
51, yeah.
Yeah, 51, where that had very clear storytelling. I don't think anyone's saying that it's lacking in any way. It's very cultural. It's saying something, but to be able to convey, if you weren't here, Lemmy, I think we would have all agreed that it's amazing character design, does speak culture, but the theme of resilience isn't coming through. And I just wanted to know from the other judge, Lemmy, you've already said your piece. I want to know from the other judges, what could this piece do that number 30 achieved in terms of storytelling? I'm going to go Andy, then Rodrigo, then Jamie, or you can jump in if you have a really strong opinion very quickly before we jump over to the last two pieces.
I'm trying to collect my thoughts right now.
What?
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
I mean, so please forgive me because again, dumb American.
There's nothing dumb about it. You are who you are.
The cultural piece that she's wearing, the dress that she's wearing, is that from Zimbabwe or is that from South Africa?
To me, it's like a mix of South Africa and Zimbabwean. And Zimbabwe is close to South Africa anyway.
Okay. So I think probably if she was standing over, a city, either in either of those countries, through, over a community of people, maybe a community of men, and showing that, she's very stoic and, she is able to show that she is a leader, among this community, that maybe that would be a little bit more, it would probably speak a little bit more on resilience. That's what comes to mind, like just adding something at the bottom here, like a group of people or something beneath her. So that immediately came to my mind.
Awesome. Andy?
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of piggyback, saying what Jamie was saying, I think having that background context, like I said earlier, right? There's always a quote that I always share with my students, like, there's no meaning without context. I think having that story, the background, that kind of help informed, that would really help out a lot. Like you said, if there's a bunch of men behind her, and then it's like this one woman standing out, against what those men are, and what their values are.
Well, so it's like comparison and contrast.
Yeah.
Rodrigo?
Well, if you compare this one with the number 30, this one is more, the peak is more obvious. The number 30 is more elaborated. The whole peak is telling a story. It's not so evident. It's like the message is more hidden. And in this one, despite I don't know nothing about African culture, I just am saying this about how technically the illustration works, and I think the first one, the way to show it is really beautiful. And to whoever drew number 51, to, as I said before, keep working, because you have a lot of potential, and try to do something more elaborated, because it's just like a pin-up of a character, and the other one have a background and a history behind that pic.
Awesome. Definitely a lot to consider. Do you think about these notes when you go into your individual voting and judging? Thank you, Lemmy, for that your 2 cents on that. Quickly jumping to number 52. Fortitude. I know we all had happy thoughts about plants last time.
Yeah, the plants.
So this one, I didn't call anyone out. I don't know why you're laughing.
I feel attacked.
I didn't say.
I totally feel attacked right now.
Okay, word. So we won't start with you. Rodrigo, you weren't here last time. The judges had a very strong opinion about plants. So I don't know how you feel coming in fresh. How about this piece, the composition? I know you spoke earlier about detailing and refining. So do you have any advice like that for this piece?
Well, about advice, I don't know. I saw the list, and about plants, I think this was my favorite one, which have plants. I like the idea. It's quite nice. About technically speaking about this, maybe to keep working on the background, the clouds, they are like quite I don't know, or ordinated. I don't know. I think I even know if that word exists in English. I will not put them so ordered and to make it more realistic, but I like the color, how the ground mixes with the sky, and the idea of making the persons coming out of the trees is quite nice. Yeah.
If you have any notes that you want to give in your own languages, just say that. I'm sure the people will Google.
I don't know if many people.
I'll Google. But yeah, no, I hear you in terms of the clouds looking less like someone put them there, and more natural and flowing, and looking like clouds like, moving in there.
Let me search for the word in English. Sorry.
It's all good. We'll circle back. Jamie, do you have any? I know I said I wouldn't pick you first, so Jamie, do you have any secondary thoughts to couple with that?
No, I love this piece. As I had mentioned last week, what I like about it is, it shows resilience, because this is an arid climate and it's showing life growing, in spite of its conditions, there's still life. You see the COVID masks that are on the ground. There's one that's hanging from one of the branches. There's branches that represent people, and at the tips of those branches are signs of life. I do like the layering of the clouds at the horizon, where we see at the bottom, it's showing those more arid conditions, more dry, and then as it gets further up, the humidity levels increase, and then we see what the way we want to see our skies look with this beautiful, bright bluish kind of hue, which looks more purplish than blue. But again, it's representing signs of life in spite of the conditions around you. And I just think that's a beautiful metaphor for resilience.
Awesome. Rodrigo, did you find the word you're looking for?
Yes, I wanted to say that instead of have them so ordered, to have them more messy, to make it more realistic. Yes.
Messy clouds. And just for Edward from Kenya, it doesn't have to be about clouds. I think the core of the advice is, I think this is one of those. I think
the clouds are just. I apologize for interrupting you, but I think the stratosphere, the clouds are thinning out towards the bottom, which is what clouds do in that environment, and then they get thicker as it gets further up in the stratosphere. So, from what I'm understanding, I think that's the way the clouds are actually supposed to look.
Thank you, Dennis. Okay. I'll agree with both your advices. I'll agree with both your pieces of advice. English. And say on Rodrigo's end, think about how clouds move, right? And on Jamie's advice, you've done well to think about the formation of clouds within this climate. So I think this is true for a lot of pieces where you've got the fundamentals / you've got the thoughts behind it, but if you take it a step further, right? So I think you're both right. I'm not saying anyone is particularly wrong. I'm agreeing with both of you, as a good child does. Andy, what is your thoughts on number 52? If you have any comments, I'll add it on and around the image.
I mean, just to add to more of the more like the technical side of the critique, it's lacking a bit of perspective in the drawing.
Perspective.
All the little leaves, it feels like it's stamped on, but the camera is actually looking up. The camera is actually below the tree looking up, so we should actually be seeing a bit of the underside of the tree, of the bushes, and just having the perspective of the overlaps of the branches to show them kind of stacking on top of each other in the perspective.
Yeah, so I think effectively what you're saying is to have some branches that come out forward, and I hear what you're saying. In terms of perspective work, it all does look like it's all on one layer.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you're saying, like foundations there, but it's just like these little nuances, right? That will really help push the drawing and the illustration. Yeah.
Foundation is there. If you take it a step further, it'll look amazing. Let me round us off on this one. What are your closing thoughts on the 52?
I agree with the technical critique here about the perspective. It's a bit wobbling when you look at it closely. There are mixed match of perspectives in the angle. But as for the cloud, I think it's a bit too obvious. If it had been faded down, it wouldn't attract so much attention. But I think that's basically. I like every other thing. Relating to the theme, it's straight on. Yeah, this is resilience. The title is Fortitude. Okay, so it's resilience, and showing the face mask and all that. So everything is in sync with what life is generally on the global level today. So we all have to be resilient to survive these times.
Yeah. These are some deep pieces. I don't know how some people came up with these, but it's really nice to see how people take the theme and make it their own and come with a voice and come with a story. The last one for today, and I think everyone had something nice to say about this last time. So I'm going to go with Rodrigo. What do you think of this piece? where do you think the artists could do better? I know you're big on rendering, um, and I see some places where they could do better. But you're the professional here. Tell me, what advice do you have for them?
Well, I like this one. I think it's a powerful one. But to be honest, for example, there is a very big difference technically between, for example, the character and the background. Uh, I can understand he wanted to show some the different planes, the first plane, second plane, and to show the depth of the illustration by making the foreground like not so detailed. But for
Mhm.
example, the three the guy is holding with his power or with his hands
Mhm.
should have more or less the same details as the main character. The background is quite flat too. I will add more detail to this one because have a good ideas, but still have to work on a lot of on the technique to create good textures and to make more different color values between all the illustration. That's my opinion.
And research color values. Okay, that's all wonderful advice. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go to Jimmy. You are now the second designated fan person. Um, color values. Okay, what are your thoughts on this? What's your crit? Um, where potentially could they go?
I mean, I think it's very simple. I think it's this one's very on the nose, like too on the nose. But I think it's a great piece. I do agree with now hearing Rodrigo's critique. I actually agree with a lot of his sentiments, and didn't even really dawn on me that it feels like it's two different illustrations between the foreground of the person and the background. So that is interesting, and it is kind of jarring when you look at it now. Um, but I do really like, the fact that they, took this element of, life in a place that is obviously has no life, and, managed to find, a little plant to be able to sprout its little leaf in spite of all of it. And that does show resilience. So the theme is on point. Um, but yeah, probably does need a little bit more detail in that respect. But overall, I still think it's a great piece. So.
Word. I think, yeah, all of these fantastic pieces. Again, thank you for everyone who submitted. Really taken the theme of resilience and made it your own. Andy, I know this is one that you wanted to discuss. Um, so tell me what about this piece you feel?
I mean, it's just the subtext, the image, and the imagery of it. I love the story behind it, resilience. The only like kind of critique is just the technical side of the drawing. Again, agreeing with Rodrigo and stuff. Again, if you really draw it out, even the perspective isn't quite correct yet either. Like the tree is very flat, and we should be seeing, like, if we were to draw that out, we can see the underside of that tree, right? Because of where the camera is low on the horizon.
Yeah. The underside of the tree. Yeah. Just try to get some of these on. Yeah.
So that kind of helps kind of show perspective and how stuff should be grounded in the drawings and the illustration. So
cool. That kind of wraps us up for the ones that you think that are worth discussing and debating. If there's one that you would like to go back to, let me know. Honestly, again, thank you so much for everyone who's watching right now. Thank you again to the sponsors for making this possible. Thank you to our media partners for putting the word out and not only getting the tournament on people's radar, but also getting the individual artists up and going. I know there's a big community forming of people sharing each other's posts and talking about it, using the hashtag to find new artists. Just earlier today, I was talking to a newspaper who was looking for African artists, and before I started whipping out my list of people I know, I was like, "Hey, have you checked out the VX Art Tournament?" So this is only possible through the coordination and collaboration between all of us here, as well as you watching right now. Rodrigo, thank you. Jamie, thank you. Lemmy, thank you. Thank you so much. Really, this has been an interesting experience, and I very rarely do people get the input and criticism and ability to just have their work spoken about either highly or where they could go better. So again, really appreciate you for taking time out of your busy days. I know all of you have got things to do, COVID willing. So yeah, I guess that wraps up this week. There will be updates sent out. Stay tuned. Same time, same place next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you've got any comments on particular pieces, drop down your comment below. We want to also hear from you, wherever you're watching this from. Get on this, check out the hashtag VX Art Tournament. Also check out and follow Comic Con Africa as well as VX Comics. Yeah, until next time, we will catch you. My name is Bill Masuku. I'm your host.
All right, thanks, Bill.
Okay, bye-bye.
I
Okay.
Okay.